when you go from one team to other, the things have changed. But you can apply your principles. I'll come to that a bit later. But one size doesn't fit all in a predictive world. The third part is the insights. So that's where the intelligence meets intuition. So people ask me, okay, where should I start with analytics or whatever this application? If you have a curious mind, I'll come to that a bit, what is curiosity is about. So you should have an intelligence and intuitiveness. When you need intelligence, say for example, I have a big problem, I give you a big problem. You want to break down into pieces, machines can do it. But when you want to take a decision, you need an intuition, right? So basically, machines are good at breaking down a larger problem into smaller steps, but when you want to take the sense out of it, intuition comes in, right? And team which is doing it with all these things. So better you get a kind of a primer on probability and stats. And in machine learning, as you know, you have a lot of supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement. So a supervised learning, which I said is you give a training set and it learns from it and you test it. And unsupervised, you have no prior data. Let me give an example. When you see an unattended baggage in an airport, do you think you have prior data? You don't have prior data. So you have to predict a particular baggage is a threat or not. Right? So that's an interesting problem which you're looking at. In an airport, when an unattended baggage is there, how do you even predict it, whether it is a safe or threat? And reinforcement is a combination of supervised and unsupervised method. So let me go, okay, and this is a throwaway example I've given a lot. So weather and climate patterns. Today we are having a scorching summer across India. And I really don't know whether we can even predict anything in the next 5 years. What would be the climate or a monsoon look like? It's a classical problem. Okay, so what are the key problems as a tester that you face when you are going to work on a predictive application like a recommendation engine or a auto tagging application? So the first problem is it's non-trivial. So I'm scaring you, it is non-trivial, because the reason is you're picking up a problem which is not solved. The complexity is very high. So it's a non-trivial problem you're working with, right? The second part is it's data intensive. So you better get comfortable with the data. If you are not comfortable with the spreadsheet of 1,000 rows, I think then we are talking about million records at times, right? So you should be comfortable with dealing with million records. It's a scale. And high analytical skills. So basically, as somebody was saying in the thing, it's why not? Basically asking why not a lot of times rather than saying, okay, somebody's giving you a reason, let's walk out with that. You know, basically, okay, it's been convinced that this person has convinced it. And test data. So as testers, how do you even test a predictive application? So in research world, we call it something called synthetic data, where we create data to test the application or to make the application full enough. So I always tell when somebody predicts it, say, can I fool your system? So you should be intelligent enough to fool the system with your test data. Okay, I classify the testing challenge into 3 categories so that you have a better appreciation of that. One is the people, process, and the tools, the typical structured thinking, right? So the first one is high amount of subjectivity. So you have no idea about the way I give you data today, you will see in a different way, and I will see it in a different way. There is a different element of subjectivity because you may or may not basically see something which I am seeing. The second one is curiosity, which I talked about. This is what you need to have as a data scientist or even a tester of applications of that nature. You should be curious, asking the questions without any hesitation. If you ask, even stupid questions, it's okay because you're curious enough to understand what's going on. And I think curiosity is something which is not common. Maybe probably some people who are curious, we probably shut them down saying that, sorry, this is a process, please follow it, right? So next is experimentation and iteration. So iteration is about, you need to experiment a lot. If you are telling, okay, in sprint 10, I'll be able to predict something, sorry, it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you need to get your Archimedes moment in your, maybe somewhere eating food, and then, oh, I didn't look at this, so let me go and experiment it a bit. So that's the reason you see people of this nature have a lot of experiments built in with them, and an iteration kind of an attitude. And as I said before, you have to have that mind of developing models. So when I say model, I will talk about a very simple thing. We are using something like you're traveling in an airline. What is value for money for you is very different from value for money for me. For example, I'm tall and hefty. For me, the seat comfort comes the first. And I am a foodie, I need food. And I don't care about the airport because airport provides me a nice chair, it's fine. I need to get on time to the destination. So the value for money is an attribute, can be built on these aspects. And how do you even build a model for someone who's so diverse as us? We come from different states, and how we build something like value for money for air travel, right? So you have to be a little bit more comfortable about the models that has been used, how somebody predicts it. And as I said, it is the most non-sexy part of the world is backend, meaning you'll be dealing with Pythons, and whatever the backend scripts. It's not the Selenium UI or something that you can see and infer. It is about a lot of backend work where a lot of data crunching happens. So you have to be comfortable with the backend part of it rather than the front end part of it, because people come to me and ask me, how can I become data scientist? Do we need to do Selenium automation? I said, I think you can do Selenium automation on the UI which gives the recommendation, but what happens behind the scene Selenium cannot do it. So the tools that you use is completely different. So that's another problem or the challenge that you face. Now let me go to the first case study, which you will understand a bit more. Two case studies I'm going to talk about. I think very interesting case studies we are actively working on. The first one is, how many of you went to TripAdvisor or Make My Trip, clicked on a particular flight, and then you didn't get the right price or the ticket was not available? It happens in most of the scenarios, or even one rupee sale from SpiceJet. I don't know, maybe some of you have attempted it. So it typically happens that, I'll tell you why it happens, so that way you will understand. So some of these companies, I will ask another question, maybe I'm asking a lot of questions. So how much is our attention span right now? How many seconds? Guess. What is our attention span? How many seconds? Take a wild guess.
7 seconds.
Huh?
7 seconds.
Yeah, he's right. It's like 6 seconds. So it was 10 seconds for our forefathers. So now we have come to 6 seconds. So the average amount of time that you spend on a website when you click search and you don't get the results within 3 seconds, people abandon the website. That's not I'm saying that the research report says. So the search company do a lot of tricky things. What they do is, it's an illusionary offer that gets into you, saying that, oh, this is available right now, go and book it. So I was actually a bit fooled by booking from, or rather, I even myself, Bangalore to Kolkata at Dasara festival. I was seeing a kind of attractive price of 9,000 rupees per ticket. Believe me, 9,000 rupees per ticket is SpiceJet, Bangalore to Kolkata on the Dasara weekend. And I went on, clicked it, it's not available. And so I think it's a bit funny because some of the searches try to make you build a huge cache, which makes you think that the price is available. So what we do is we build products for our customers that way. The biggest problem that we face is customers come and tell us, I couldn't find the flights, I couldn't find the price for that flight, and it's not available when I book. And how do you test such system? You're testing something which is at the cache time, where what you're seeing and what you're getting. Right? What you're getting is the system, which is the booking system, which gives you the result, the right results. So there's a source of truth and there is a source of illusion. So how do you test this? Right? And this is what we are doing. So I think this is a bit of an architecture slide, as you can see left to right. So you have the file system cache where the user really sees the search. But what we do is, when the user reports something saying that this is not coming up for me, for example, one of the largest travel agent, Kayak, says that my customers are trying to book from Paris to New York, and that on a Christmas holiday or something, but they are not getting what they are seeing. Right? So the cache shows something, but the booking system doesn't show something. And we monitor that quality. We monitor the search quality of what you see and what you get. Right? And this is not a system which is I'll come to the size part of a bit, which was there in the next. So I think it's a little bit. So we manage close to 20 odd customers, around 0.7 million messages per day. Meaning, when I say messages per day, we are sampling 1% of the entire population, which is 0.7 million messages. Which means I need to compare out of this 0.7, out of let's say 7 million traffic, 0.7 million, and compare against the real source of truth. Right? So how do you even sample it? If somebody comes and asks you, this particular results are not accurate, how do you even sample it? Right? And as I said, we report it back. I'll come to this dashboard part of it. So this dashboard, as you can see, the circles show the pattern. There is some dip happening for some of the customers, which says that what I got, what I see and what I don't get is like only 80% of the time or 70% of the time, and somebody wants to deep dive into it, right? So how do you even test this? So when I ask somebody in my testing team, I think they are a little bit trying to understand what it is, because it's all right now I have a team of 4-5 developers doing this, not testers, and test developer do the testing, right? They say that, can I write a Selenium script for this? It will automatically trigger and then say that it's fine. No, but I think that's not going to solve the problem, because you're going to just get that, scratch the surface. But how do you go deeper into these patterns? Basically, there is a dip of 80% or 90%. You don't know what's happening. When you click this dip, it will show 28,000 messages has been sampled. Right? I'm talking about sampling here. So what you need to get to this level of understanding, right? So as I said, we use random sample thresholds, reporting the deeper findings, and we need to go through the constant monitoring. We do have a monitoring team constantly monitoring these dips because the product managers come and ask the travel agent is complaining or somebody is complaining, right? And we have to go through every message and do it. And how do you even automate it? So to be honest, we are not solved it yet. We have hired a Python developer as I speak. So we are going to get that person to do it. As I think Sanjay said, we are maniacally focused on getting this product up and running for us to monitor. Now we are thinking about testing because even a bigger company, the first goal is to get the product out. Then you look at the process later. So in my view, I don't know whether you call it as agility, but at least you start with something. So what you need basically, again going back to the people process tools, if you're aspiring to be a career of that kind of a nature, first is you need to understand smart sampling. Basically when I say smart sampling, it's called, let's say, stratified sampling. Let's say you wanted to go by North American routes, you want to go by European routes, you want to go by Asian routes. Whether you want to sample Singapore to San Francisco or New York to Paris, it's up to you. But I think you need to reason out why you need to do a smart sampling. The second thing is scenario prediction. I think most of us are aware of equivalence partitioning, boundary value analysis and all. It's much beyond that. Basically you need to understand, let's say a travel agent selling a ticket from Delhi will get a different price when you sell it from Bangalore. Do you know this fact? You go to walk to a travel agent and then you ask for a quote from him. A person sitting in Delhi will get a different price and person who's offering you in Bangalore gets a different price. That is because it's designed that way, because probably Delhi and Bangalore may be having higher propensity, but if you go to, let's say, a small city, tier 2 city in somewhere, a tier 3 city, and if you give the offer the price, they will run away. So there is an incentive model behind it. So you have to understand the smart sampling and also the scenario prediction, because sometimes customers come and ask us why the scenarios are not working for us. And I think somebody talked about unit testing, so we do a lot. Our coverage is 85%. As a tester, if you are accepting a predictive application with no unit tests, sorry, it's not going to work. So here we only test through a lot of unit tests. So I think in our team we have a philosophy which says that testing is everybody's responsibility, meaning I don't walk up to anyone and say that are you a tester or a developer. It is slightly becoming like a hybrid kind of a world. I ask them, do you really test? Have you tested this? I mean, it's the right question to ask, but I think you'll say, I'm not a developer, sorry, I'm not responsible. No, that's not the way. So unit testing is the 80% or 85% coverage we have, which is the highest one that we have in the team. And we do a lot of pair programming. As I said, one person do sit together and understand, because as I said, curiosity is not given. Curiosity may be arise from different people, so you can put 2-3 people also and ask them to test it, right? So some kind of a pair programming. And lookalike environment. So basically, we cannot test everything this in production. So you have to get the same 0.7 million messages into the test system and test it. So we create lookalike environments, which exactly the same scale as a production environment, right? So you should be able to get that so that you can freely test it. And open test suite. Anybody can contribute to the test suite, meaning there is no restriction. It's like tester, I need to do it. No, if you have a test case, even I have contributed to some test cases, being just overseeing or the whatever you call the next, whatever, I don't do the Scrum Master or anything, but if I see something I can add to the test suite, right? So that logically goes to the next case study, and I think Sanjay set a beautiful context of A/B testing. That is what this is about. So the interesting problem here is there are two OTAs, or rather one OTA to start with. Our competitor is Sabre. Okay, Sabre is one of the biggest travel GDS provider. There's one OTA who did a very smart thing. The company's name Unister, it's like a make metric of Europe. What they did is, I'll give you 10% traffic, I'll give you 10% traffic. Whosoever can book maximum PNRs will get the 80% of the traffic. So it's very interesting. So basically, when you search, you don't really book. So how many of you went and casually surfed, never booked in a website? Or most of us, I think in India it's quite common. So how do you even know whether the person will book or not, right? So that's the problem I'm talking about. How to improve even your look to book ratio, because that's my conversion. Amadeus makes money, or Sabre makes money when a ticket is booked. It's not when a route is searched. Search is not our core business. Booking is our core business, right? And of course we get our financial report says every ticket, even in India, we pay 4 euros which comes to close to 300 rupees you pay to us when you book a ticket from Amadeus. So that's the way we make the money, right? And for Unistars, they did a very smart thing. They said that you convert the booking, whatever people are searching, into booking, I'll give you the rest of the traffic. And this puts the entire team into the SWOT. And I've seen them putting them into the SWOT, they work so hard. And how do you even test this? You need to really know the customer what the customer's traffic is all about, and how do you even test it? How can you even predict something or write a test case for this? I'll come to that a bit. Okay, this is again the architecture part of it. We use some intelligence where we have the price results. You can see this.